Hey everybody, Jerry here, and in this video I want to talk about my last 10 years experience with narcolepsy. I want to kind of give you guys a background on my experience for starting narcolepsy, how things started, my medication experience, and really just my entire journey over the last 10 years trying to figure out how to live a full life with narcolepsy. So while technically I was diagnosed with narcolepsy 10 years ago, I think my story with narcolepsy is similar to many individuals where they feel like they've had narcolepsy for much longer before their diagnosis. I was very similar to that, where I was falling asleep in the car all the time. I was known for falling asleep at the barbershop when I was a kid. But like many people, falling asleep and being tired really isn't a sign of anything serious when you're a kid. You're young, you're growing, and these things happen. But my real actual diagnosis came after a concussion. So I had a concussion, and for those few weeks following the concussion, I was having severe symptoms of fatigue and some other side effects as well. So I went in and got my sleep study done, and sure enough, I had post-concussion syndrome, but I also had narcolepsy. And this is when I got my first taste of stimulants. I think it was either Provigil or Nuvigil. At the time, it was the new age narcolepsy medication that was supposed to be the best thing out there, and the doctor gave me a trial of it. And I remember the first pill so vividly, really that entire first week so vividly, because it was so euphoric. I felt so great, so energized, so motivated, so happy. I had really felt like everything in my life had just fallen into place in a 1 week span, and that this magical pill and my diagnosis with narcolepsy explained everything. And then it was going to be, the start of something amazing for me, a brand new life for me. It was really an incredible feeling at first. But unfortunately, that feeling was short-lived, because about a week later, I was experiencing severe depression, and just, I felt like I did a complete 180 from everything was fixed and everything was great, life was great, to feeling like I wanted to quit my job, to feeling like I wasn't going to succeed at anything, to being depressed, to not wanting to leave my house. It was a complete 180. And thankfully, I was able to realize, hey, wait a second, 5 days ago I was feeling amazing, and the last 3 days I felt horrible. It's probably because of these stimulants I'm taking. So I was able to go back to the doctor and work through another stimulant. I don't remember if it was Adderall or Ritalin, what I started on next. But eventually this became a pattern, a recurring pattern. Every 3 to 6 months, I would go back into the doctor where the medication wasn't working the same for me, or I wasn't having the same effect. Usually I would have to go up medication doses pretty quickly within a 2 to 4 week span of starting a new medication. I was already gaining tolerance. I wasn't having the same effects, the same feeling, and I wanted that feeling again. I wanted that feeling I had that first couple days, that everything was going to be fixed and I was my best version of myself. And I was always chasing that person. I was always chasing that feeling. And that came with just continually increasing dosages every 2 to 4 weeks until I would hit my max dose on the medication. And that would happen typically in 3 to 6 months. And from there, I would feel like I plateaued, and I started feeling crappy and unmotivated again and depressed again. And I was just going through these huge waves, these huge peaks and valleys of feeling great and feeling motivated and feeling like the best version of myself existed, and then feeling like this just tired, worthless, depressed person, where I didn't feel like I was going to be able to do anything right, and where I felt like this disease, this diagnosis was going to beat me and control my life and take over my life. And this lasted for 8 years. This whole cycle of ups and downs, and trying different medications and maxing out on dosages. I tried all the stimulants, extended release, short release, combinations of the two, anything and everything that was on the market. I was willing and ready to try. And finally, it was one day, I can remember the day that changed everything for me. I was sitting at an intersection, and I was going to turn on the intersection, and then all of a sudden, it was like I had forgotten the last 2 to 3 days of my life. Like, it wasn't like a complete blackout, but it was a blur on what had happened the past 2 to 3 days of my life. And something then hit me like, okay, one, I'm driving and I'm about to turn on the highway. This is probably pretty dangerous that I am not really here, I'm not present while I'm driving, getting on the expressway. And I don't remember the last couple days of my life, but I realized that the road that I was continuing to take, the road that I was continuing to seek to try to find that high that I experienced the first week of stimulants, was not a path that was leading me down a good road. It just continued to lead me down a path where I was ended up depressed, where I was ending up more fatigued, and where I was feeling hopeless and all these negative things. And I wanted to find a new strategy. I knew that I needed to find a new strategy. So I started to look into alternatives for narcolepsy, trying to get information on what's really happening in my body and try to figure this thing out. Because in school I did study exercise science, so I do have a background in human performance, and so I understand the chemistry and the physiology to a degree. And I thought that there would be some information, some clues inside of there that would help me understand what's going on and help me get information to beat this thing. And what I found really quickly was there is not very much information out there about living an alternative or holistic lifestyle with narcolepsy. Right? You go to articles, you see the very exact same cookie cutter crap, eat healthy and sleep well and, get outside and exercise. Well, while all these things are right, this is not very detailed tactical information, right? And it doesn't give us a background or understanding on how to beat this thing. And at that point, I just fell into, I guess you would call it a depression. That's the best way to describe it, where I stopped my medication without talking to my doctors. I just stopped it because I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to feel depressed and like crap anymore. I just couldn't do it anymore. And with that, I fell into, a depression where I didn't feel like I was going to be able to do anything. I couldn't focus. I was having all of these negative side effects from going off the medication. And through this period, I was always saying, man, look how strong this disease is. Look how strong this narcolepsy is, where I feel depressed. I can't focus. I can't do anything, right? I feel like I can't do anything right. I feel like my life is just going down a very dark path. And one day, it finally hit me that I am not experiencing my narcolepsy symptoms. Like, yes, to a degree, these are narcolepsy symptoms, but to a much larger degree, this is a withdrawal symptom from the stimulants that I was taking for 8 years. Being on high dosage of stimulants for an extended period of time is going to cause all of these symptoms I was experiencing: depression, brain fog, lack of ability to sleep, lack of ability to focus, feeling unhappy, all of these things. And those were the first clues where I really started to research and understand stimulants and understand narcolepsy better, that allow me to really start to put the pieces of the puzzle together that have allowed me now the last 2 years to live a life without medication, where I'm not really reliant on any stimulant to function during the day, and to a point where I feel happy and stable again. I don't experience the super high highs, like I experienced the first time taking medication. And I think, after talking to a lot of people, everyone is chasing that. Everyone is chasing that high they experienced from that first pill. And I chased it for 8 years. And I finally gave up on that chase, saying, hey, this is not a realistic bar. I think that somewhere in my mind, I thought that this was how everybody felt on a good day. When I took the medication the first time, I set the bar that this is how normal people feel each and every single day. This turned on, this switched on, this good. And that's just not the truth. It's just not the truth. Most people don't feel like that. If anybody, I don't think anybody really feels like that without having some type of stimulant effect. And understanding that has really allowed me to find that place now where I'm able to focus during the day, where I'm able to have energy during the day, where I'm able to live a pretty normal lifestyle with narcolepsy without the use of stimulants. And this is a big reason that I wanted to create this channel, was because I remember when I wanted to look for alternative resources, where I wanted to look for more information, there was just no good information there. And from my experience, there's so much more information out there that we don't understand, that's not talked about in the narcolepsy community, and it's not really discussed in the doctor's office either, right? You don't go to the doctor's office and they don't talk about lifestyle and behavior modifications and your sleep rhythms. They don't really talk about that information. It's just, here's a pill, take the pill, and come back when you're ready, or come back in a month for a checkup. Now, I'm not here to say the doctors are evil or bad or doing a terrible job or anything like that. What I am saying, though, is there is a lot more that we don't understand that's not talked about, and especially from my experience the last 2 years of really trying to understand this stuff. And that's why I wanted to create this channel, to help other individuals out there that have narcolepsy, that want to look for more information, that want to understand to a higher degree what's going on in their brain, what's going on in their body, and to understand ways that they can combat those symptoms of fatigue and feeling crappy, and to feel better again, and to have better sleep again, and to reduce their nightmares, and to all the things that are caused by narcolepsy. Because with narcolepsy, it takes so much away from you. It takes away your confidence. It takes away your desire to go out and have fun, to do things, and to be with friends and family again, and to put yourself in situations where you might feel fatigued, and might feel tired, and might fall asleep, or might have cataplexy, right? It takes so much away from our lives. And I really wanted to have this channel to provide that information to help individuals go through the experience that I just went through, to work toward a better life, and to work toward finding what things really affect our sleep, what things really affect our energy during the day, and make these lifestyle changes, because that has to happen. I feel like that has to happen for individuals with narcolepsy that want to have a better life medication balance, or want to do more things, or whatever it is. There has to be lifestyle behavioral changes, and you got to understand that stuff. And then supplementing with medication, I think, can be a great way to go. Obviously, I don't give any medication advice here or with anybody, because I'm not a doctor, but I think that really focusing on what can we control in our environment, and then using the medication to supplement the rest of our energy needs. And that's what this channel is about. So if you guys are here, if you guys have narcolepsy, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sure that your story is very similar to me, and I'd love to hear more about it. You guys can join our Facebook group, and if you guys do want to see more video content like this on my experience and the things that I've been learning to deal with narcolepsy in a alternative route, if you guys want to support the channel, it's super easy. Just go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, comment down below. I'd love to hear about your story and things that you've been experiencing, or things that have helped you in the past, or topics that you want to talk about more inside of this channel. And if you guys really want to kick things off, you guys can check out in the description below. I put a starter course down below that talks about stimulants, understanding stimulants better, understanding sleep and nutrition, and all of these things. So it's a completely free course. You guys can access that down below, as well as some other resources like our Facebook group and some other giveaways. So definitely check out the description down below. And yeah, if you guys like the channel and you guys want to support it, I would appreciate the subscription, and we'll see you guys in the next video.